There's another one. This guy likes it. Where you going, Stink? Why do you want to go back in already? That's it? You had enough? What, do you think I'm going to do something to you? Alright, gonna let the dog back in. He wasn't out here that long. Can't even see him. Now we got this guy. This guy's big. Now, bigger the better, in my book. And so one of these is going to become my snowblower, and one of them is going to be for the garbage. Now this one is missing a cover, but we could make a bell cover. So let's get these out of here. It says 8 horsepower, but damn, that thing is big. That doesn't even look that bad underneath there, whereas the other one looks worse. But looks can be deceiving. We got to get them cleaned off. Right, that can is heavy, and this machine. The machine itself is super heavy. Hear the wind? It's super heavy. So this is one that it would be nice to get working again for the property. I don't know if I'll sell it, but for the property, right? Especially when I get those ice storms, because this is what crushes through it. Right. It's cleaner. Let me just rinse out what's underneath, then we'll lay it down on its wheels. This one's an absolute monster. It really is big. It is big and bold and beautiful. All right, this one, all the paint came off of this guy. Well, almost all of it, just about. We'll get a closer look. Now, I'm going to bring these over by the garage, and the next up is we'll wheel this Craftsman up a little closer and see if I can get it so that I'll take the bottom off. I don't think I really need to, but we want to peek in there, get it clean. This way I can take the motor off if that's the case, and we'll get some wheels for it another day. But it's in pretty good shape overall. This probably just got warped from the way it was sitting, but I think if you leave that sit in the sun for a little while, it'll be fine. All right, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to get back to work. I don't want to use the camera out here on a stand. It's so gusty. I don't want it to blow over. All right, so I went through some of the other snow blowers. The one I like is the red one. We'll bring it back in a minute. One thing I see, all right, this thing's got a great transmission in the front. It's pretty beefy. We don't see a lot of play. This is just a little bit of play here. You know, where the bolts are, you're going to see a little bit. It has nice grease fittings on it. It's not excessive. When I grab it this way, there's almost no play in these bearings here. Very, very little, okay? And even back in here, you can grab this. Make sure you've got the plug disconnected. It's not going to start. But I'm not feeling anything. And we can get to it from the back as well. We want to see if it's jumping around back there. So over here, it looks pretty good. You can put the machine up on its barrel and grab the pulley in here. You could also do it with, kind of grab it and put a jack or a screwdriver under it, something, a big screwdriver or something. But I can almost grab it, and if you listen, it's got just a tiny amount of play. So that checks out. Now, my biggest concern with this thing, honestly, is twofold. One, I can't get the wheels off because they're jammed on the shaft. And I don't want to burn the tires up trying to get it off. So that's a concern. We want to try to work on that. I can see one of the pulleys is no good. Not the pulley, the belt is no good. It's flopping in the breeze. Also, the skid, the clutch, the skid plate, and rubber wheel, right? That's the friction wheel. Right? All that looks okay, but the friction wheel is getting tired. I don't know if you're going to be able to find a friction wheel for this. I don't know. I'm not a snowblower guy like that. You know, I'd have to look to see. Maybe Stens that have it. So before we get that far, let's take a look and see if we can get this thing to run. So Next step, let's just grab a tissue. Let's just see if we got oil in it. Motor doesn't look bad, and you know what? The oil doesn't even look that bad. It's just black. And I don't smell any gas in it or anything. So there's enough oil in it to just play with it. Let's pull the plug and check for spark and see if she fires. Now, my snowblower, all the bushings are shot. All of them. The axle bushing, the axle bushings are really shot. The bearing in the auger is shot. The side bearings, which are plastic bushings on mine, they're shot. It's MTD. It's older but kind of newer. So I'd actually grab the red one if I could fix that one up and maybe swap a motor or something, and abandon what I already did, and take a few parts off. If that's what happens, I'm fine with that. You know, I want to kind of not spend any money really and work with what I have. You know, it's a frugal mechanic, and I definitely am. You know, Arch is very frugal. Everything is all about not spending really any money, right? I like buying parts and used machines, and I buy them as cheap as I can get them, and from wherever I can. That's my method to my madness. So I'd rather buy parts, because if you buy a parts machine for 20 bucks, 15, I think this was probably $15, $20, you're getting so many different things, potentially, right? And then there's all the hardware that you get. So you get a ton of hardware from things. You know, I got the table full of hardware I have over here that I'm looking at. Just from that one snowblower, which, you know, like I said, could have been fixed, could have been restored, but rust-wise, it was a little too far gone. This one's kind of neat, right? You could unbolt this whole thing, comes apart, and you could just kind of clean it up and paint it. And I'll tell you something, that was on there. You know, I'd be inclined to do that. And I think what we'll do is we'll grab the plug from the other motor. This is not bad. Should probably turn the light on. Let's turn the light on. Not bad. Let's just run it like that. Okay, let's see what we got. Now, before we twist it around and check for spark, since this thing has not been spun over, let's take our two-stroke with the transmission fluid and run it in there. All right, let's see if this thing spins over. Let's see. Wow. Short pull. So maybe this will yield some good parts. So now let's see if we have any spark on it. I bet you it does. Okay. I don't know if you're going to see it. I can barely see it. Got spark. Alright, so now it smells. Yeah, the engine smells old. So let's just put some gas right down into the hole and put the plug back down. Well, let's put a lot of gas in then. Oh yeah, I got shot. So this thing runs, okay? So what we want to do now is open the door. So I put the tires on this guy. And I'll show you. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Can you see it back there? I put the big tires on it. So this guy's in really nice shape. The can's in nice shape. The paint's nice. You know, if it needed a bearing in the front, I wouldn't cry having to take it all apart. It needs some loving. These are the tires. Now, my tires fit. I don't have the light on here. I'll have to work with what you got. I could fix this motor or put another motor on it. Either way, this is going to need a carburetor and bolts and who knows what else is missing from it. But we could grab a motor. So I'm thinking I might take my motor off because it's so close. And we'll look at that in a little bit. It's so close. Rather than having to re-bushing everything on that old frame, use this frame, pop a different motor on it. Pop a motor that works on it and be done with it. If and when later on I get around to buying carbs and stuff, because I don't want to be buying anything. I already bought too much stuff. And this motor might be a good motor for something. So this motor might also be a good, this might be a good spare machine in the in-between. So maybe if I disable the other one, this one will be working well enough. You know, and build one nice machine, throw out all the rest. So what we want to do now, we know that works. Let's take a look here. Maybe we'll do it this way first. Here. Let's just see what kind of screws we need to deal with here. Looks like a flathead. It's already missing one. And we need to pull this off, which we just did. Let's take a look at the cabulator. Like I said, they are a little bit different. Pulley arrangement's a little different. The one on the bench has a secondary pulley on it. It's got a separate, another shaft on it. All right, that doesn't look bad. That does not look bad at all. Let's take a peek underneath. We pull the bowl on it. Let's put it up and take a look at the bowl. The bowl comes off. It's a nice machine, right? Get this off. So this might be a really nice backup machine. See, the other one, that was jammed, the one that I just did. So let's pull all that off. And this might be the carburetor we're looking for. I don't know. I don't really want to bork this up. Like I kind of like it. It's really big and heavy and hard to maneuver. I'll tell you that. Wow, that looks great. Oh yeah, oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that. Nothing wrong with it. Let's blow some gum out up in there. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let me blow a little bit of gum out through. Blow some in here. We'll blow the jet out. We'll put it back together again. And we'll look to see one thing we can do is maybe put a little fuel in this, and before we put the bowl on, let it flow out. I don't know, something like that. I'm not too worried about it if I have to pull it back apart again. I just want to see if this thing's going to run, and I think it'll run fine. So we'll have a motor and a machine working, and this has to be replaced, this pull cord. So let's find out. Let's get some gum out in that. That thing's clean. It should run fine. And let's take a look at this. This just needs to be cleaned a little. Yeah. Let me just blow a little gum out in there. Blow a little bit of low pressure air. I didn't even need to blow anything out. I'll just blow that jet out. And we'll dial it out to about 1.5 turns. Turn it in. That's 1, I think, and that's about 1/2. That's fine, we'll just leave it like that. Alright, we're ready to go there. Now, I'm just going to put some fuel in it. Alright, let's pull it back. So everything in here looks pretty decent. Okay, we can go through that again in a little bit, but I don't see any issues. It's moving well. It needs to be, you know, cleaned and a little bit more and lubricated, but I don't see this. Just this is, there's some play in here, but it's not really a lot. It's not as much as mine, the other one, and this is stuck bad. So you'd have to heat that, hopefully without blowing up the tire off of it. But the tires are even in decent shape. So it's rusty. It needs cleaning. It needs to, you know, it needs a nice, you know, refurbish. Okay, so let me peek down the gas tank, and might be a little bit of debris, something in there. I don't think we're too worried about it. Could be a little bit of water in there or something. Doesn't look like there's anything bad in there. You know, I see maybe a little bit of water in there. So what we could try to do is flush some of it out. We'll put a little bit of gas in there, we'll flush it around, and it'll help get rid of it. Because if we can want to take the carburetor apart for a quick cleaning, that's fine. So let's grab a little bit of fuel so it has a little bit of contamination in it. So what? Right, I'll just go back through it another day. Let's just see if it runs. We're not going to put much gas in it anyway. Put a little bit of gas in with a little bit of two smoke. That should be enough. We're just going to splash everything around. The oil's kind of beat, so we don't want to run it that long. We'll put a little bit of two smoke in there. Have some old two smoke. Stir it all up. That'll help also grab a little bit of the water. And if you really wanted to fool around a little bit and you wanted to get it going good, you put a little lacquer thinner in that. You know, let it run for a bit. Let's see. Just a splash. That'll grab whatever water and gack is in there. Clean it out. It's like seafoam. Alright? Yeah, I can smell it. It's all old crap in there. Now let's stir it up. Let me shut the heat off. So we're going to open up the door. Let's just stir it up. Alright. Let's pull some from down here. Purge the purge thing. Does it have a purge? No, it doesn't have a purge. Isn't that bizarre? I thought it did. That's what it needs. I might even have one. Okay, so we're not going to use the choke. We're going to just take some fuel, plenty of fuel, and we're just going to pull it. And instead of putting it to full power, we'll bring it down a little bit. Hopefully this works okay. All right, we'll find out. See, it wants to run. Now, let's see, do we have it set to flow? No. Okay, now it'll flow. Give it a minute. Yeah, let's push a little bit of that in there too. It should run. Starts fine. guys. I think it runs really good. I just made a few adjustments and it runs really good. It needs a belt. We need to deal with those tires somehow, but that's not actually important. It's not actually something I have to do. They have air in them. They don't leak. She's, like the black and orange Momba, this thing. The orange and black Momba. There's nothing wrong with it. I say clean it up. Maybe tomorrow I'll finish cleaning it a little bit. I'll take it outside and I'll wash down the carburetor a little bit more and wash this part of the motor because I didn't get up in here well. So I'll get that clean. We'll take the cover off the back because we have to take this off as well. We have a couple of things to do to it. It's really not that bad. Now, it doesn't have electric start, but who cares? Right? You see how easy it started. So if you prime it, it starts right up. It doesn't even take much to pull it. Could I put electric start on it? Yeah, I probably can grab that from that motor over there. Maybe we'll, make some parts changes or whatever, and we'll see what gives. This is steel. That's not going to break. It'd be nice to put together one nice machine for myself, and if I can, I'll have a backup. This needs to be bent back. This is a nice machine. It's built well. So, all right, let me start taking a few things apart, and I'll get it ready for tomorrow, and I got to let it air out in here, and we'll be back. We'll check it in a little bit. This is going to be nice. This is going to be a lot of fun. It runs, right? The old black and orange Momba runs. I don't know, what color should I paint it? We'll do like a red or something, or a green. Chevy orange. No, it's big block. It's a nice motor. Yay! We'll be back.